The first time Aiden Morales kissed Everett Collins, he did it to shut him up. And Everett, shocked, breathless, let it happen because cameras were already pointed at them. Nothing about that moment was real, except the part neither of them dared to admit. It felt like something dangerously close to home. Aiden never planned on any of this. Living in New York meant expectations and eyes everywhere, especially now that he was about to start his first job at a major tech company. After years of moving from town to town with his mother, he had finally landed something stable. But stability came with rumors, whispers, and the pressure to appear perfect. Aiden hated the way people dug into his personal life, turning his quiet nature into speculation. Everett Collins, on the other hand, was chaos wrapped in a smile. A marketing intern with a famous family name and the kind of charm that made strangers assume he had never once struggled for air in his life. They met at a volunteer event when Aiden was accidentally assigned to work the same table as Everett, who talked too much and laughed too loudly. Their worlds should not have collided. Yet they did in the most inconvenient way. It began when Everett's ex spread a rumor online that Everett was incapable of holding down a committed relationship. At the same time, someone at Aiden's workplace had already made a few assumptions about his private life, and word spread quicker than wildfire. He hated the attention, especially when he hadn't even told his new coworkers whether he was single or dating. Then Everett, in pure panic and zero planning, blurted out to a small crowd of colleagues and friends, "Actually, I'm dating Aiden. We've been together for weeks." Aiden had stared at him like he just announced he was the president of Mars. The room went quiet. Someone snapped a picture, and suddenly Aiden felt the walls closing in. Afterward, Everett apologized so dramatically that Aiden thought he might pass out from stress. But the damage was done, and somehow, some part of Aiden agreed with Everett's accidental plan. Maybe pretending would be easier. Maybe it would quiet everything down. Maybe it would give both of them some breathing room. Everett promised it would only last a few weeks. Just long enough for the rumors to die. Just long enough for Everett to regain his dignity. And long enough for Aiden to blend back into the background. But the first rule of their arrangement was simple. Never let it feel real. Except reality had other plans. Their first public appearance together was at a friend's rooftop gathering. The air was cool, the skyline glowing gold and purple. People watched them closely, whispering behind their drinks. Everett leaned in too close, brushing Aiden's hand like it meant nothing. Aiden felt his pulse jump. "You're shaking," Everett whispered. "I'm cold," Aiden lied. "You're lying?" Everett whispered back, a ghost of a smile touching his lips. Then someone called their names, asking for a picture. Everett slipped an arm around Aiden's waist like it was the most natural thing in the world. Aiden's breath caught, and in the moment just before the camera clicked, Everett kissed him. It was supposed to be quick, mechanical, something that looked good on camera but meant nothing. But Aiden felt it all the way to his ribs. Everything spiraled after that. Suddenly, Everett showed up at Aiden's apartment with takeaway dinners because he claimed couples share meals. Aiden found himself memorizing Everett's favorite bubble tea order, even though he was sure it didn't matter. They trained their story, practiced the details, rehearsed the lies, until the lies didn't feel like lies anymore. Aiden noticed things he shouldn't have. How Everett's voice softened when he talked about his sister. How he tapped his foot when he was nervous. How he tried pretending his family's wealth didn't weigh on him like a chain around his ankle. Everett noticed things too. The way Aiden scratched the back of his wrist before speaking. The way he froze when overwhelmed. The way he never asked for help but desperately needed someone to stay anyway. And one night, on the very rooftop where their first fake kiss happened, Everett confessed. "Sometimes I forget we're pretending." Aiden's heart clenched so hard he had to look away. "Don't say things like that." "Why not?" "Because I won't know how to unhear them." Everett stepped closer. "Maybe you're not supposed to." Aiden couldn't breathe. Because he wanted it. God, he wanted it more than anything. But wanting it meant risking everything. And he didn't know if Everett wanted the truth or just wanted the comfort of not being alone. Their fake relationship was supposed to protect them. Instead, it was breaking them in ways that felt too real. Aiden wanted to run. Everett wanted him to stay. And the city around them buzzed with life, unaware that two hearts were crashing into each other with beautiful, painful force. Everett waited for Aiden to speak, but silence stretched between them, thin and trembling. The breeze swept across the rooftop, lifting the ends of Everett's blonde hair, giving him a softness that made it impossible for Aiden to look away for long. But looking meant feeling, and feeling meant danger. "Aiden," Everett whispered, "tell me what you're thinking." "I'm thinking," Aiden said slowly, "that this was supposed to be simple. It stopped being simple the moment you let me kiss you." Aiden let out a shaky laugh. "You kissed me. I just froze." Everett's eyes softened. "Yeah, but you didn't pull away." That truth hung between them like a fragile thread. Aiden wanted to cut it. Everett wanted to hold it. "Everett," Aiden said quietly, "I don't know what you want from me." Everett hesitated, then answered, "Honesty. Just that." Aiden shook his head. "You don't get to ask for honesty when this whole thing started with a lie." Everett stepped closer until their shoulders nearly touched. "Then let me fix it. Let me be honest now." Aiden swallowed hard. "I'm not sure I'm ready for that." "But you are," Everett whispered. "You wouldn't be standing here if you weren't." And then Everett did something he rarely did. He waited. For once, he wasn't filling the silence, wasn't cracking jokes, wasn't trying to charm his way out of discomfort. He just stood there, patient and open. Aiden felt his heart tug painfully, because he knew this version of Everett mattered. This Everett wasn't performing. This Everett wasn't pretending. This Everett was the one Aiden had been slowly falling for without permission. They went home separately that night, neither one able to stay any longer without breaking some internal rule they both clung to. For a few days they barely spoke. Aiden kept himself busy at work, burying his anxiety under long hours and endless tasks. But Everett lingered like a shadow in the corners of his mind. Every time his phone buzzed, Aiden expected Everett's name. Every time it didn't, he felt something like disappointment chewing at him. Everett, meanwhile, didn't know how to exist without Aiden anymore. He paced his apartment, replaying every word they said on that rooftop. He wanted to reach out. He wanted to fix things. But he also wanted to give Aiden space, despite how much it hurt. Their arrangement had been fake. Their silence now was painfully real. On Friday afternoon, Aiden found Everett waiting outside his building. He leaned against a lamppost, hands buried in his pockets, expression a mixture of hope and fear. Aiden stopped a few feet away. "What are you doing here?" "Trying not to screw things up more," Everett said. "But I probably already did." Aiden sighed. "I never asked you to show up." "I know, but you didn't tell me to go away either." Aiden hesitated. That was true. "Walk with me?" Everett asked. Aiden could have said no. He should have said no. But he didn't. They walked side by side through the city as the afternoon faded into orange light. The streets buzzed with life. Couples holding hands, vendors shouting, people rushing past without noticing the small universe building and breaking between two men lost in their own storm. They ended up at Riverside Park, sitting on a bench facing the water. Everett kicked lightly at the gravel. Aiden kept his hands clasped tightly in his lap. Finally, Everett turned to him. "I messed up, didn't I?" "No," Aiden said. "We messed up." Everett blinked. "We?" Aiden nodded. "We both let this go too far." "Is going too far always bad?" Everett asked softly. Aiden didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked out at the river, watching the sunlight shimmer across the surface. "I'm scared, Everett." Everett's voice fell to a whisper. "So am I." Aiden finally looked at him, really looked at him. Everett wasn't confident now. He wasn't charismatic. He wasn't the easygoing flirt who could turn any moment into a joke. He was human, vulnerable, and heartbreakingly real. "Everett," Aiden murmured. "I don't know how to pretend anymore." Everett exhaled shakily. "Then don't." Silence expanded, warm this time, not suffocating. Aiden spoke first. "If we do this for real, it can't be a secret." Everett nodded. "I don't want to be your secret." And I don't want to be your performance. Everett reached out, slowly, giving Aiden time to pull away. Aiden didn't. Everett's fingers brushed his first, hesitant, trembling. When Aiden finally curled his own fingers back, Everett's breath hitched. It was the smallest touch, but it felt like a beginning. Everett leaned in gently. "Can I kiss you? For real this time?" Aiden nodded. The kiss was soft. There was no audience, no cameras, no reason to pretend. Just two men learning the shape of each other's hearts in the quiet dusk. Aiden's hand slid to Everett's jaw. Everett's fingers tightened around his. When they pulled apart, Everett smiled in that small, honest way Aiden was starting to crave. "So we're doing this?" Everett whispered. Aiden's answer was a simple, steady, "Yes." Everett let out a breath that sounded like relief and hope woven together. He rested his forehead against Aiden's. "Good, because I'm all in." Aiden closed his eyes. "Me too." The city hummed around them, but their world felt still, anchored by a connection that no longer needed pretending. Their story began with a lie, but it blossomed into truth. And for the first time, neither of them was afraid of what came next. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.